What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another lucky dip. And this one comes from Mikey. Once again, big shout out to you for sharing not only a playlist of lucky dips, but also some garbage, as well as Ace of Base. And this one is by a group called the Ting Tings, which is an amusing title for a group. I've never heard of them, but the track is called Hands, which is a single word title. It's very descriptive, but there is an ambiguity as to what the hands are doing, whether we're talking literal hands or whether we're talking more conceptually. So, yeah, there's a tactility to the title, the idea of putting your hands on something or having direct contact. There is an immediacy to that, but of course, it might not be about capturing or holding something. It could be about their utility and what they allow you to do, and again, that could be more figurative or literal, so I'll just have to see what I can catch on a first listen. This is the Ting Tings, and the track is Hands. Like that bass line. That's fun. So, first of all, the Sonics, I enjoy that bass line a lot. It definitely has a rolling groove to it, an electric vivacity, and it was in conjunction with this almost like metallic style ping that sort of offset against the bass line, so the main foundation of the track had a very rich sound to it, a very electric sound. I enjoy her vocals, especially in that moment in the second half of the tune where she did like this triple melisma. I forget, the second word I think was pay. I forget what the first one was. Was something to say, but the I enjoyed the playfulness of that vocal delivery moment. I'm not sure about all the lines. Again, the general idea of, clapping your hands if you've been working too hard and your hands can play the piano with 88 keys. Incidentally, I'm fond of a long running, or maybe not long running, but band that goes back to the early 90s and existed for a while. But yes, 88 Fingers Louie, and the idea of being able to play 88 keys on a piano. So that's not a number or a phrase that I've never heard before. But yeah, the idea, what's a girl to do, what's a guy to do, I don't know if there's a distinction there, but certainly, talking about playing a piano and doing it with two hands, which allows you to play both a melody or a lead melody and a bass line at the same time, and also to play more complex pieces in general. Of course, you need two hands to clap. I heard that line about, what was it, unscrewing a light bulb, which I suppose you could do one-handed if you were to wedge the socket, but ultimately it is one of those tasks, like opening an old school ketchup bottle, where fundamentally it's most convenient if you have two hands. So I feel like there's maybe some conceptual meaning going on here, where having two hands in a literal sense, and maybe by extension in a more figurative way, opens up more possibilities and more opportunities. But then there's, what was the line about, working too hard, not being able to finish the work in LA, and then sleeping in a bed, and I actually don't know, it sounded like gay, but it sounded like gate also, so I'm not quite sure how to take those pairs of lines, and I'm surely not hearing the second line in its full correctness either. So yeah, I don't really know if there's a larger meaning here, or if it is a song about, feeling the beat, letting go from the struggles of occupation and work, and, clapping your hands and feeling it, using your wherewithal and more literally your hands to engage in music and artistic enjoyment in a life that is otherwise full of work and obligations and so on. So yeah, not quite sure what's happening thematically, but sonically I really enjoyed that. It felt short, felt like maybe not much more than 3 minutes. Yeah, just about 3.5, so on the shorter end, but as I said, the bass line, some of the synth work I really enjoyed, and the vocals had a lightness and a fun to them. So a cool one. Do let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.